Father Fabio, I have been experiencing tribulations in my family, and I would love a word of guidance. My parents, both are almost 80 years old and over 40 years of marriage. They are now living a marital crisis. She verbally assaults him with offenses and accusations. They are constant fights. He revolts. Leaves her alone even though he knows he needs care. She has experienced health problems and has a very limited view, and sometimes even talks about suicide. I do not interfere with their lives, but my mother always charges me that I need to fix him, that I have to change his thinking, and that I have to talk to him. Father Fabio, how should I act? Since I have no experience of marriage, what I have been trying to tell them is that they need to know how to grow old together, especially because each one's defects, the differences, existed since the beginning of the marriage. But when I say something, my mother understands that I am in favor of my father and vice versa. Thank you. May God bless. It's my daughter. It's really very difficult. Imagine, almost 80-year-old couple facing marital crises. And it's complicated because old age is the time when we need to have a tranquility to say goodbye to the good of life, isn't it? I think getting older is you to make this awareness. I'm saying goodbye to time. I'm saying goodbye to life. I'm saying goodbye to the experience of being who I am here, materially as I can be. From the moment I start to create conflicts and let the difficulties plague me, I say goodbye to life. Now it is likely, my daughter, that the marital crisis is a process that has been coming from afar, right? It is not possible that differences have arisen now. The problem is that sometimes in old age, our defects are very sharp. I always like to say, look, at the age of 10, it's easy to change. At 20, it gets a little harder. At 30, the difficulty increases a little more. At 40, is almost impossible. So we have to be very careful not to crystallize our effects. Psychology calls this crystallization, right? What is it? It has become a crystal, and now is difficult to break. That's why, if you have the opportunity to overcome your defects today, don't waste time. It's more malleable, it's easier to deal with. You have more willingness to change. Because then, as time goes by, we are getting hard, right? So the time of change is the time of youth. I'm not saying that old people cannot be modified. They can, but it is much more suffered. It is much more difficult. And then our defects, which were not careful in their youth, tend to become a pump ready to be exploded in our old age. So how can we deal with the defects that were crystallized? Becoming aware of them. And the best way, Fatima, to interfere with the marital life of our parents is very lovingly proposing a conversation. And sometimes with really shock treatment, looking in the eye and speaking. Want to end life fighting? Isn't it time to start also proposing a little playful activity? Because sometimes old age, guys, it is missing. Lack of playful activity, that is. Entertainment lack. Do a physical activity. Have the opportunity to throw out of these energies that are getting accumulated. The person, at the age of 80, is needed to channel these energies that are often accumulated. I remember. Today we almost no longer have. But there in Ant, where I was born, I remember there was the Mothers Club. Well, what was the Mothers Club? A center where they collected old fabrics, flaps that came from factories. And there the women sometimes spent 2-3 hours in the afternoon. I remember my mother participating in the Mothers Club. They learned embroidery there. They engaged in craft work. And there they had the opportunity to do the purification a little, right? To throw away. Because manual work, it is doing very well for our head. And that is why he gets better, the one who has a habit. One who knows how to make a knitting, who occupies the heart and head. That doesn't have a vacant space, right? That's why crosswords are doing very well for older people. Because Life teaches us that as stations change, there is always a reality that remains in nature. It may be that a station comes and remove all leaves from a tree. It may be another season and fill it with flowers. It may be that, modifying the season, these leaves lose the vitality, the viso, and fall. But one thing is certain, the root remains in whatever the season. There is a livelihood in the plant that makes her remain alive even when everything is contrary to her. The plant wisdom that teaches us that in winter times it is necessary that all the sap that is dispersed on the leaves and in the flowers will rest at the root. You go through life all the time doing this experience. It may be that at times of your life some people were vital. They were very alive in their history at that time. But suddenly the time went by, the station was modifying, and that person stopped being part of his story, stopped being part of his life. But you can identify that throughout your life, although you have passed numerous stations for you. There are some that stayed. To these people, we can call them roots. These are people who, even with time changes, even with the changes in the seasons, they are still there. We are planting trees. We grow like trees. We are uniting as trees. It is the poetic license. It is the meaning that goes beyond the word. And we all need to go through the constant experience of treeing also. To throw root in one's life, and to allow other people to also to release roots in the land of our history. Because what holds us in life, my people, and what makes us realize all that we have to live every day, are those roots that we look and that we can count on them. It is those people who remain even when the seasons change. As I said here, so many people went through their life, and at the joy station they were all there. But suddenly, when the time came from the difficulty, everyone left. It is the realities that are fleeting. They are the people who are fleeting. But we do not survive from ticketsui. The human being increasingly needed realities that are definitive, realities that we know will remain. There may even be change, but they will not abandon us. It may even change, but that root will remain there. Even because we can only be happy as we are trees that are planted with fertile roots. This week I was passing by a road and commented to a friend who was on the side that I find very interesting how the bamboo grow. You never see a lone bamboo, right? Because he knows he doesn't survive the winds. If he wants to stand, he has to grow along with others. Because when the strong wind comes, they all form a protection. They are strong together. If you blow a heavy wind on top of a single bamboo, he will fall, he will die, he will break, he will give in. But if he is next to others, if he makes that thicket, if he makes that great set, he will not be broken. Because they will obey the movement of the wind, but will not give in to make death definitive. They will not allow death to be definitive. One will help the other to stand up. In life, it's like this, my people. We will know how to stand as we are treated, planted together, because the beauty of life is here, both joys and sadness. They can only be lived as we have someone to combine the verb with us. Otherwise, life becomes unbearable. Try to live a sadness alone for you to see. It will be unbearable. Try to live a joy alone. There will be so much taste. We need to divide. Whether in joy or sadness, we need someone on our side. Someone who helps us understand what is happening. And this is the beautiful Christian meaning. To love and be love. It is you to be planted together to help the others win. He remains standing. You are planted together so that the moment the wind is contrary to you, he who is by your side helps you stand up. This program, he wants to be for you today. Who knows? A small tree planted by your side so that our word, our music, Our reflection, who knows today, can represent someone who really is by your side. Someone who is really planted as root to give you the security you may need today. And maybe spreading the song, this mystique that music brings us. We can treat the world, and tomorrow we can plant each other in other lives. And tomorrow, we can allow other lives to peak.